From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, February 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $18.38 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,260 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.5 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,169. Antiwar.com reports Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Joseph Dunford says that the Pentagon is considering a long-term commitment to operations in Iraq, intending to keep troops in the country after the war against the Islamic State with an eye towards keeping Iraq's military propped up. Exactly what form this will take remains to be seen, as the U.S. already has thousands of ground troops in Iraq, and they have already made a point to say that their existing operation has no fixed end date. U.S. officials have previously indicated that the U.S. would likely be in Iraq more or less forever, believing the Islamic State or something similar would crop up if the U.S. were ever not occupying the nation. Dunford's comment suggests that the U.S. is considering something above and beyond this, but might pretend both an increase in U.S. military aid to Iraq and an even bigger deployment of ground troops in a nation-building capacity, though this would clearly run contrary to President Trump's position that the U.S. is spending too much money having troops abroad in so many different countries. It does, however, explain why the Pentagon has been comfortable with pushing Iraq's anti-the Islamic State military offensive across the Sunni Arab parts of the country, despite little to no effort being made to end the sectarian unrest that set the stage for the Islamic State's original capture of those regions. Keeping Iraq's Sunnis pacified is going to be an open-ended job, and it's a job the Pentagon leadership is fine with taking up. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Thursday directed the Department of Justice to continue to use privately run prisons, a reversal of an Obama-era directive to phase out the facilities. Sessions issued the policy-changing memo Thursday, saying the decision to permit the Federal Bureau of Prisons to keep using private facilities will allow them the flexibility to meet future needs. Last August, Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates issued a directive that the Bureau was to start a complete phase-out of private facilities based on reports suggesting they were less safe than the government-run facilities and were more expensive to operate. Sessions wrote the memorandum changed long-standing policy and practice and impaired the Bureau's ability to meet the future needs of the federal correctional system. Therefore, I direct the Bureau to return to its previous approach. Sessions said he is not instructing the Bureau to start using more private facilities, but rather looking to allow them to make decisions they see best fit. A report by the DOJ's Office of Inspector General found private prisons had more safety and security incidents than those run by the government, had higher incidents of assault, and had 8 times as many cell phones smuggled in for inmates. Private prison companies vigorously denied the report's findings and were glad to see it rejected by Sessions and the Trump administration. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organization to show up in an emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. Reuters reports the administration of President Donald Trump may ramp up enforcement of federal laws against recreational cannabis use, according to White House spokesman on Thursday, setting up potential conflicts in states where cannabis is legal. More than 24 U.S. states have legalized cannabis for either medicinal or recreational purposes, and the administration of former President Barack Obama mostly looked the other way. But White House spokesman Sean Spicer said the Trump administration may distinguish between medical and recreational use of cannabis. Spicer's comments came on the same day that a nationwide poll from Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut showed 71% of registered voters favored allowing states to decide whether cannabis should be legal for recreational purposes. Spicer said at a news conference, "I do believe you'll see greater enforcement of it," adding, "Medical use is very different than the recreational use, which is something the DOJ will be looking further into." This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.